Have you ever pondered the sacrifices made for the rights you hold today, particularly the right to vote? It's a thought that might not cross our minds often, but it's a story worth telling. A tale of an unseen battle, one fought not on bloody battlefields, but in the hearts and minds of society. This is the story of women's suffrage, a monumental struggle for equality that spanned decades and continents. A fight for the simple, yet profound right to vote. It was a movement that saw countless brave women and men stand up against deeply entrenched beliefs and societal norms. They faced ridicule, persecution, and even imprisonment, all in the pursuit of a single goal: equal voting rights. These were not just activists, they were pioneers, visionaries who saw a future where women would stand shoulder to shoulder with men in the democratic process. Now brace yourselves as we journey back in time to meet the women who dared to challenge the status quo. At the forefront of this movement were women whose names echo throughout history. Let's start with Susan B. Anthony. Born into a Quaker family committed to social equality, Anthony was a tireless warrior in the battle for women's suffrage. Her fierce determination and unyielding spirit led her to co-found the National Woman Suffrage Association with another iconic figure, Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Anthony even dared to test the system by casting a vote in the presidential election of 1872, a time when it was illegal for women to do so. Her arrest, trial, and conviction garnered national attention and fueled the fire for change. Elizabeth Cady Stanton, another pivotal character in our tale, was a woman of intellect and influence. Her eloquent speeches and writings were instrumental in advancing the cause. Stanton was a key figure in the groundbreaking Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, where she presented her revolutionary Declaration of Sentiments. This document, echoing the language of the Declaration of Independence, asserted the self-evident truth that all men and women are created equal. Then there was Sojourner Truth, a former slave who became a powerful advocate for abolition and women's rights. Her speech, "Ain't I a Woman?", delivered at the Ohio Women's Rights Convention in 1851, remains an iconic testament to the intersection of racial and gender inequality. Truth's raw honesty and poignant words challenged societal norms and sparked critical conversations about freedom and equality. These women weren't just fighting for the right to vote, they were challenging the very foundations of a society that had been built on inequality. Each brought her unique perspective and strength to the struggle, contributing to a movement that would reshape the course of history. Their courage, determination, and unwavering commitment to the cause were nothing short of extraordinary. These women laid the groundwork for the fight for equality, but the battle was far from over. The torch had been lit, and it was now up to the next generation to carry it forward. As the torch was passed on, new leaders emerged, carrying the flame of equality forward. In the early 20th century, two such leaders were Alice Paul and Lucy Burns. Both were American suffragists, feminists, and women's rights activists who played pivotal roles in the battle for women's suffrage. Alice Paul, a woman of indomitable spirit, introduced more aggressive methods to the American suffrage movement. Inspired by her time with the Women's Social and Political Union in England, she organised the Grand Procession, the first significant suffrage parade in Washington, D.C., and was a key figure in the passage of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Lucy Burns, on the other hand, was the passionate firebrand. A close ally of Alice Paul, she was instrumental in organising the Silent Sentinels, a group of women who stood in silent protest outside the White House, demanding the right to vote. Their activism was not without cost. They faced imprisonment, forced feedings, and public scorn. Yet they remained unyielding, their resolve only emboldened by the challenges they faced. Their continued activism and tireless efforts led to the passage of the 19th Amendment in 1920, granting women the right to vote. Through their collective efforts, these women brought about a revolution that reshaped the world. The flame they carried continues to burn bright, inspiring future generations to continue the fight for equality. The struggle for women's suffrage was a monumental chapter in human history. Its influence reverberates through time, shaping the bedrock of civil rights movements that followed. It has been pivotal in crafting the tapestry of our modern society, where equality and justice are not just ideals but realities to strive for, As we enjoy the rights they fought for, remember the women who dared to challenge the world. And ask yourself, how will you carry their legacy forward?